This is Newsmax TV. I'm Ashley Martella. President Obama makes his second appointment to the U.S. Supreme Court. He chooses Solicitor General Elena Kagan. She has never been a judge, nor has she written a judicial opinion. She was dean of the Harvard Law School. While there, she tried to bar the military from college campuses because of her strong opposition to the Don't Ask, Don't Tell policy. That effort was shot down by the U.S. Supreme Court. Kagan also served on a Goldman Sachs advisory council several years ago, receiving a $10,000 stipend for her work. One of the groups strongly opposing her confirmation is Focus on the Family, the evangelical Christian nonprofit group founded in 1977 by psychologist James Dobson. Its senior vice president is Tom Minnery. He joins us by phone. Nice to have you with us, Tom.
Well, thank you, Ashley. I appreciate it.
Why is Focus on the Family so opposed to the Elena Kagan nomination?
Well, first of all, she's plainly out of the mainstream. When you said a minute ago that the Supreme Court shot down her view on military recruiters on campus, boy, you were correct. The position that she held was shot down 9-0, and very seldom do we see the Supreme Court ganging up like that against a position that is obviously out of the mainstream. So this profound abhorrence of the military that she has expressed is of great concern to us. And when we're in a time of war, to have someone like this, particularly she was upset because of the Don't Ask, Don't Tell policy, which she said was a moral problem of the first order. And now just think what that means, that the right to be open about one's homosexuality in the confines of a military barracks is a civil right of the first order. And obviously, the military is not a land where one conducts its members' civil rights exercises. There are not many civil rights in the military. It's yes, sir, yes, ma'am, do what you need to do, and salute. And that she would have this position is astonishing.
Would you call her a left-wing ideologue?
From what we know about her, I would say that. But I would say we need to know a whole lot more about her. She is so very thin on her record. It's just tough to know where she is. And you know what we do know about her is disturbing. She was asked specifically about this Don't Ask, Don't Tell policy when she was when her confirmation hearing for Solicitor General was held, and she was asked by Senator Sessions, "Will you support that policy?" She said, "I will support it with vigor." Well, she had a chance as Solicitor General to do that, and she did not. There was a case that challenged Don't Ask, Don't Tell on the West Coast. The Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals out there gave a ruling that tended to undermine it, and the Justice Department decided not to appeal that to the U.S. Supreme Court. So we're very concerned about it. All the signs point to some left-wing ideology.
Are you concerned that Kagan might legislate her agenda from the bench? In other words, would she try to write the law rather than apply it?
Well, that's the central problem with people who approach the law from this ideological point of view, the idea that the Constitution is a living document, that it can be updated, renewed, that it does not mean today what it meant at the time it was written. That is at the essence of left-wing ideology on the bench, and I was a little disturbed by the President's comments when he introduced her at the White House today, when he said that she has a compassion for the people who are impacted by the laws. Now, that is concerning for this reason, that a judge ought to interpret the laws, and the people who have the compassion for the people whom the laws are affected by are the legislators, the people who create laws. And if laws impact poorly on people, they should be changed. They should be changed by the legislators who pass those laws, not by the judges who have to dispassionately and fairly interpret the laws.
As CNN notes, Kagan's confirmation would mean the Supreme Court would have no Protestant justices for the first time in its history. Kagan is Jewish and would join the 6 Catholic and 2 other Jewish justices. Now, does this concern you?
Well, not really. The term Protestant is so broad as to lose its meaning in the context of a Supreme Court nominee, just as the term Catholic is so broad that it loses its meaning in the context of a judicial candidacy like this. What's much more important is to know what the judicial philosophy of a candidate is.
In a 1993 Law Review article published after the death of Justice Thurgood Marshall, Kagan spoke glowingly of a speech Marshall gave in 1987 in which he said the Constitution as originally conceived and drafted was defective. She quoted him as saying the Supreme Court's mission was to show a special solicitude for the despised and disadvantaged. The Republican National Committee is making an issue of that. In your opinion, are they right to do so?
Well, I can see where Thurgood Marshall would have those feelings, coming as he did out of the civil rights movement and understanding the great problems that civil rights biases inflicted on African Americans. But nonetheless, people need to ask themselves, what is the job of a justice? To interpret laws or to create laws? If Ms. Kagan wants to create laws, then she ought to have run for office. If she wants to interpret laws as they are written, and including the Constitution as it is written, then it's appropriate for her to be a judge.
Senate Judiciary Committee Chairman Pat Leahy says he hopes to have Kagan confirmed this summer. What is your group going to do to try to convince senators not to confirm her?
Well, we'll do what we normally do. We have great grassroots connections with social conservatives around the country, and we will explain, even as we're talking about it now, the problems with Kagan, and we'll encourage people, if they agree, to raise their voices, let their voices be heard to their senators. This nomination has a long way to go yet.
Focus on the family and focus on the family action. Senior Vice President Tom Minnery, thanks so much for sharing your views with us here at Newsmax.
You're welcome, Ashley.
And thank you for watching Newsmax TV.